Hi. I'm not exactly good at being sappy, sentimental, or following a script, so I'll do my best to keep things brief. I'd like to thank everyone who emailed me and either auditioned or simply showed support. What started as a small, impulsive passion project now has more hands than I thought possible, and it has been really overwhelming, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I'd also like to say that this may be the final time you hear the original Magnus Archives intro, considering we now have people to do the music. All creators who generously offer their vocal talent will be mentioned in the description and outro credits. Thank you, and enjoy episode 2 of what remains of the Magnus Institute, Sweet Shop. Endless Fears presents What Remains of the Magnus Institute. Episode 2, Sweet Shop.
Sage,
Sasha?
how are you feeling?
My nose isn't stuffed anymore. Do you mind me recording this?
Yes, but that hardly matters. Do you understand why you were called in here?
Semi-permanent ban from the archives on account of my bronchitis?
Yes.
How are the others? Did they do everything they were supposed to? Nothing is going to need catching up, right? Everything done?
Nothing can truly be done, Sage. That's the entire point of a job. But they did everything they needed during the week of your absence. You know, Task asked about you.
They did?
Wondered how you were doing.
The same person who ostracized me from the archives with a can of Febreze before hurling a bag of cough drops at me? I don't believe you.
Well, they did. I'll tell them you're feeling fine.
Anything else?
Nothing but complaints from Kara.
What about?
She says the files Mr. Hallway gives her are full of sand.
Sand?
Indeed.
Did you question him?
I did, and he told me it came from your sticker drawer. He also said that he had to, quote-unquote, pry through the endless piles just to get one dusty piece of paper.
Oh. Huh. Well, I'll check it out. The desk is old, so it might just be old wood shavings. Am I dismissed?
You are. There should be a case file waiting for you per your request.
Right. Thank you, Sasha.
Of course.
Statement of Rowan Holt regarding an odd job he used to work at. Original statement given 8th September 1979. Audio recording by Sage Newbert, head archivist of the Magnus Institute, previously stationed in London, but moved to Hastings in 2021. Statement begins. When I was a teenager, I never wanted to work. So when my father's friend Marco Vasquez offered me a job at his stupid old candy shop down in central London, I practically felt the death of my social life seeping in. I tried my hardest to get out of it, trust me. if my mum was still around, she'd tell you I wanted to keep freeloading, because a 17-year-old without a job is exactly that in her mind. On my first day, my pops dropped me off because I didn't have a car or license at the time, and sent me off. I didn't find anything inherently creepy about the building. I mostly just viewed it as an eyesore. My eyes went right to the large curly sign bordered in pink faux frosting reading Twin Tooth, what you crave, in a large obnoxious font. The building was surprisingly large for what it was, with endless room for sticky kids to run around and grab fistfuls of products so they can run their poor guardians out of their money. Mr. Vasquez was a tall man, eerily tall. He had tan skin, brown eyes, and curly hair of the same shade. One odd thing, even to my father, was that he never stopped smiling. It started in the middle of his face and rose to his cheekbones, raising his eyelids to meet the pupils halfway. He gave me a uniform and told me to change. I hated the damn thing. Not even because pink was a girl's colour. It's bloody dreadful on the eyes. A day later, I was on my first shift with Mr. Vasquez, training me. He taught me the basics. Don't be an arse to the customers. Make sure to keep a keen eye out if they need anything. Always keep a smile if they're talking to you. Yada yada. Then he told me never to go inside the basement under any circumstance. I think that was the first time I ever saw him break character. He stopped smiling completely. A thing I don't think many people have ever seen him do. So for him to actually, stop dead in his tracks was reasonably horrifying to me. The character was back before I could ask him what he meant, though, and my shift continued as normal. I couldn't help but be curious. Anyone at the beautifully stupid age of 17 would be. So I can't blame the younger Rowan for wanting to be like the people in those ghost hunting cartoons. So, during a particularly slow day, I decided to wait until exactly 12 p.m. when he went down there, and followed him. This was the best course of action, since I had no key and the intricacies of lockpicking are beyond me. The first thing that hit me was the smell of well-concealed rot, growing stronger and more foul the deeper we went. It was a spiral staircase, so, thankfully, a long time. When we stopped, I'll be honest, I had no idea what the hell I was looking at. At first, it was just buckets, but then he took out severed limbs. Arms, legs, eyes, ears, mouths, noses, lungs, tracheas, you name it, he had it in there. Near the buckets was a melted corpse, all muscle tissue. It had no skin left. I couldn't even tell who it was, but from the size it looked like a child. Maybe one of our regulars, but I don't know. He always took a bunch of the heavier, gullible ones down there. I saw him melt the skin off the rest of those appendages. I watched it drip into a flat liquid and then mold, finishing it off with an eye he assured me was fake. I darted in a hurry to tell someone before he saw me, but all the money I had was back home, and Mum didn't trust me with a penny, so I stopped at a local pizza joint and told them what I saw. I doubt they believed me, but since it was the 60s, all you could trust was someone's word. 5 hours later, I was picked up, watching the cop cars roll in and out. The place shut down 9 weeks later. I think they built some new chain restaurants where I worked instead. Sometimes I would make rituals up when I cleaned the bathroom so those kids would never be forgotten. Statement ends. Well, I'll be frank here. I've never liked statements like this, especially if children are involved. Looking further into it, though, all the details Mr. Holt gave us are truthful. Mr. Vasquez was arrested before this statement was given to the archives, and the opening and closing dates of Twin Tooth line up rather well. I have also found a podcast and a separate transcript that go into much better detail than Mr. Holt's. This is from the episode of the podcast Stab, Speak, Testify. Casters Asher Paxton and Julian Long state that he was born November 12, 1932. And his parents had confirmed him as a diagnosed sociopath, participating in the killings of several animals, skinning them alive before chucking them into a river. Imagery has been posted on their website. Warning, though, it's rather graphic. Courts argued that they could not do anything since he was underage, and of course, no sane parent wanted to give a child a lobotomy, causing him to become a serial killer sometime in his 20s. Folks who knew him attested he was a good guy, albeit a bit strange. But anybody we've attempted contacting from the list provided by the podcasters has refused to contact us for a follow-up. My thoughts on this case are rather grim and not plentiful. I've never liked cases that involve something so brutal and just the kids and may whatever's out there in death keep them safe. Recording ends.
Into the Spheres is a non-profit and licensed fan network for the universe of the Magnus Archives and is under no affiliation with Rusty Quill, the Magnus Archives, and the Magnus Protocol. Today's episode was written and recorded by Noah, known as @LivingInYourTrashCan on Tumblr, featuring the vocal talents of Elle or @Milsopia on Tumblr as Sasha Lemmings. I'll see you all next time.